Vince, aka Odm Art. What is going on, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, cheers. I got one too. You ever try this
Oh, do
one?
you? No, what do you got?
It's best flavor they have,
Wait,
hands
what is
down.
that?
Ghost?
Oh, it's an energy drink.
Yeah, it's zero sugar though.
Mine's beer.
Oh, little different.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's an energy drink. No, I'm drinking cheap beer.
Is
Texas
there
stuff.
caffeine in beer?
If you're drinking like Four Locos and like '09, like probably.
I'm
Do you
I'm not
remember?
a
Do you
beer guy.
remember that?
Kind of. I mean, I just never got into drinking because it was so like overdone from what I remember. And here we are in our 30s talking about it years later.
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh
still
man.
can't. Like, I still can't actually drink a shot. If I'm having a shot, it looks like it's my first shot ever. Like I have a face, I'm cringing, I'm like slapping the table, and like it's so horribly and embarrassing when you see my face. Like you have to look away. I don't want anybody looking at me when I'm taking a shot because it's so embarrassing. You remember Super Bad where he went to the bathroom and just drank in the
Yeah.
bathroom? That was me.
Who's your friend you have with you?
Who?
The cat.
Oh, it's a cat in the fridge.
Yeah.
That's my cat Elmer.
Elmer. Okay. Shout out to Elmer.
He's needy. He just has to sit on me 24/7.
Oh, really? That's how my cat Frank is. Like anytime I'm in here, he'll sit on my lap, but because I have the door closed, he's like, "Oh no, I can't do it." Well, I mean, we have. Oh no, we're down to four. We used to have six cats. We're down to four, and then we have chickens, dogs, and then a hedgehog.
Dude, you're
Yeah,
like a farmer.
we have like a small zoo. You know, people when they come over, they have to pay 25 cents.
Holy cow! What a random combo.
Yeah,
Cats, chickens, and a what? A hedgehog?
yeah, I have a hedgehog. Yeah, I he's in my office with me.
How do you take care of a hedgehog?
He's honestly, I don't mean to say this to be mean, but he's kind of been a disappointment. Um, like, like,
Haven't we all been someone's disappointment?
well, yeah, I mean, he's friendly, but he just kind of keeps to himself. He only comes out during the night. I mean, he's really easy to take care of, but as far as like any type of social interaction or like emotional support, there's not a whole lot there.
Yeah,
But
kind
he's
of like a
cool to
cat.
look at. He's kind
That's
of like
cool. I
a
mean,
fancy car. Like,
yeah, it's like it's cool, but it's like that. Don't touch it. It doesn't want to be touched by you.
yeah, exactly. Or he'll get you with his little. I kind of have the same hairdo.
Yeah, you've been rocking that. Like you've been rocking the Mohawk for a while.
Yeah, well, I think way back in the day, I just had it like, I think I had it like flat on the top, and I think I spiked it up.
Yeah,
I think I
I think
did.
before I think before that you're rocking kind of like half emo, kind of
I
like
was,
almost swoopy hair, Justin Bieber look, but like not quite there.
yeah. I mean, I rocked that for like a couple months, and I was like, yeah, I need
Really?
to do something with this. Yeah,
Yeah. Hey man, emo's coming back. Might want to get that back again. Just get the eyeliner and the swooshy look. There you
yeah.
go.
Rebel against my parents at 33, man.
Hey man, that's how you rebel and show them at
Yeah, I showed
33.
you guys. Uh, okay, so something I thought of. I don't really know much about you, like growing up. Like if you grew up in Minnesota
Oh,
or like how
um,
you.
yeah. I mean, I grew up in Cottage Grove.
Oh, you know what? For context, I didn't even think of this. So me and Vince have known each other for a very long time. Ever since what, like 2007, I think.
Um, yeah, 2007. About that.
Oh seven, oh eight, yeah, somewhere in there. We met in a class with kind of a funny, eccentric teacher who I won't say his name. But
Troublemakers too, because I mean, I was actually talking about that not too long ago. I was like, looking back, I was like, dude, kind of a dick. Like,
oh,
like
I
most
mean,
teenagers.
yeah, when you look back and you just think of all like the stupid like thing or like for me anyway, all the dumb things I said and like dumb situations I caused, it's like, oh, ick, yuck.
It's like you look back and you're like, I was kind of a dick, but also you're like, at least for me, it was like gothic, hot topic pants, chains, and like eyeliner, and just very rage against society. I'm never gonna change, mom.
It's not a
So
phase.
like, dude, I literally remember saying that to my mom. It's like it's not a phase. I've been wearing hot topic pants until I'm 30.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Well, like I don't remember you being like mean at all, like at all.
really? I mean, I was like that kid that wanted to like I don't know. Like looking back, it was like uh I threw chairs at a teacher one time because I was like just being angry, and the
Oh,
teacher always slips already filled out, ready to go, so it can get sent to the principal's office.
oh
Yeah,
wow.
looking back, I'm like, why? Like, why? But you're a kid, so you're like, all right,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't realize how hormonal you are and just all the crazy dopamine levels that are going on in your brain
Yeah, I'm
and
growing like a
everything.
milk mustache. You guys don't know what I'm going through.
Do you still talk to anybody from that era?
No, honestly, I was kind of like a random kid at the high school. Like I was kind of floating around, talk to people here and there. Like honestly, it's only you that I talk to once in a while. But like school or from when I was like 12. Like I still have a group of friends that in middle school we went to all year round school.
Hmm.
So it was small, and I think that kind of kept everyone together. So all those people still are friends or still talk to each other. Like all the popular girls in middle school still are friends, and they had babies together, and all the nerd kids
Yeah,
are all
yeah, that's
friends.
true.
It's I think it was just like all year round that kept everyone together more than high school.
I don't
But
yeah, man. I talked to you and one other person and then sadly, man, a lot of our friends are gone, unfortunately.
mhm.
Did you know Chad?
Yeah. Anyway, I talked to Chad a few years before that.
Yeah,
He was always a person that I talked to, but it wasn't like we kept in contact a lot. But whenever I saw him, it
sure.
was like, "What up, dude? Like, how's it going?" And he always had that like since he was like 15 when I talked to that guy, he always had like a cigarette voice,
He
like that.
did. Yeah,
Hey
he always had a
man.
very raspy voice. Yeah, that's true.
And at the time, I was like, this guy's very mature, but he's only like 17. Like he had a
Yeah.
very cigarette sounding like deep voice, but no, he was always friendly. But
I mean, I I
yeah,
ki- I like if I saw him, I would say hey, but I didn't really know him. We exchanged gamer tags once back in
mm.
the Xbox 360 days for World at War.
Oh
For those who remember. But yeah, man, yeah, everybody was posting. I was like, oh man, that's terrible news.
yeah, it's I don't know. It as I'm getting a little bit more mature, I start to notice like those pockets you have of friends or even acquaintances to like kind of cherish them a bit more.
Exactly. Well, I mean, even so both girls I dated before my wife Melissa, they're both gone too. So it's like, yeah,
Oh
you do
wow.
a lot of growing up between that and now. You just learn to be a bit more like humble and just be a little nicer to people.
Well, it's kind of how as it goes. You try to find a way to have a more stoic way of thinking, like
Yeah.
giving people a chance, but also if someone can't understand you and they still want to fight and bicker, and that's on you. Like, but for me, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna live my life. You can keep fighting, but just I'm done. Like I can't do this somewhere. And that's any relationship, friendship, coworkers, whatever. It's like just kind of taking more of the I guess it's like the Zen way of thinking, but sometimes it's the best way to do it. And that's how I live my life. It's just
No,
I'm
yeah.
I'm cool,
You're
man. I'm chill. Like
you're
not trying
100%
to fight
right.
with anything.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking to Tammy, aka We Scottish Lass, and she was saying people in your life who they're in your life, but you don't necessarily agree on their philosophy or how they think or their
Yeah.
kind of tiny little box of anger that they've created for themselves. It's like I like you,
I don't
man,
know.
but I can't I can't spend a whole lot of time with you because you're draining my energy.
Yeah, and there's all different kinds too. I
Yeah.
mean, that's people that still I guess it's like partying or people that are toxic in general, just being like energy suckers, like they take too much from you. And it's like, hey, if we're friends, I'm there for you, but can't be something like you're dragging me down kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
difference from friends and uh, you know, someone that's just not even fun anymore. It's just a burden. Like if
Yeah.
someone's always partying and they had something toxic on attached to them, it's like, yeah, I can't be a part of that. I don't know. I'm not trying to get too dark or deep with you, but that stuff with the past too. It's like I have also lost a high school relationship too that passed away in high school.
Oof.
So it's like when you have that, it's that it's it definitely makes you. I think it changes you in some way. Like it's
Yeah.
like that thing of being like, whoa, like life is short. Even though they say it, sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason. Like life
Yeah.
is short. Like it's that thing to like try to move forward and not let stuff like get you too down.
Not to plug my own brand, but did you happen to listen to the full episode I did with Rob Dyrdek?
I didn't get to listen to this whole thing, but I mean,
Okay. Hands down, best advice I've ever gotten on grief is like you're always going to have that normal process that's always going to be there. It's a part of being human, but you have to take that and create something out of it, whether it's like a piece of art, maybe it's a book or a screenplay, movie, TV pilot, anything. Just take that and create something out of it. And I was like, I've never heard that before. That's a really good way of looking at it.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's kind of what I do with my art. Like I'm not sure, remember my old stuff. It was a lot of melty stuff, a lot of monsters and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I lost somebody too. I mean, I lost a bunch of people in the past couple of years, just like most people. But I couldn't deal with certain things, so I decided to paint, and I started painting stuff that I don't know. It's like therapy paintings because they were helpful for me. They weren't supposed to be seen by anybody, but recently I started showing them at galleries, and it's nervous. It's like it's nerve wracking to show that. I don't want to be near it.
Yeah.
So when I go to a gallery show, it's like as far as everybody knows, I didn't paint it because it's so raw and hard for me to share. But yeah, I started painting a bunch of like therapy paintings just to help me get through that, and it's kind of cool doing that because I've gotten a few people that have connected with stuff that's like not the same story, but they've lost people. So it's kind of nice to like
Yeah.
have that connection of being like, I get it. Like I get this from this painting. And some people don't because they never lost anybody yet or they haven't been through that situation at the moment. But
Yeah.
when you paint, like it's kind of fun because it was just the easiest way I could get stuff out there without saying it. Because sometimes talking about it, you're like, I don't want to talk. Like I don't want to talk about stuff. Like it's just too hard to talk about it. So for me, the new stuff I've been painting recently that I shared with you, it's like those were all like getting out there and out of my head and into a painting.
Sure. It's kind of
Yeah.
like don't tell me, show me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister passed away.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right, man. Sorry to hear that.
it's okay. I think I'm at a better place to talk about it. But no, she passed away during COVID. So it was kind of like like those 2 years went by and it seemed like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how it went by because it happened directly at that moment. So it seems like unreal. And when I painted those paintings, I have one painting I did that I painted like the first month that it happened because it was like everyone's in lockdown. You can't touch anybody. You can't hug somebody when you're going through grief. Like I couldn't even hug my own mom. So it's like you're going through grief and you have to stay inside alone. Like what a way to deal with it. Like so it's it's like it's just me. You can't touch anybody. You can't hug anybody. You can't see anybody. But you also need someone at the worst time in your life. I just started painting because that was how I could deal with it. Because it felt once I was done, it felt personal. It felt like I got it out in some way. But
Hmm.
yeah, some of those paintings were hard because it was just like I was going through a time where it's like you can't hug anybody when you need a hug. like
Yeah, no
like I
kidding.
lo- like I love my cats, but I became a cat guy. I was just talking to cats. Like it seemed crazy. I'm just having conversations with cats most of my day during that time.
You're the first crazy cat man.
Ah,
But okay, and then kind of going back. So for the people who don't know, I did a local late night show here in Minnesota, and Vince was on there. You can go check that out. I think it's under your name, Vince. I don't know if I ever switched it.
I think it's Odam.
That was fun to have you on though.
Yeah, that was a great set. It was like a sitcom set.
You want to know something crazy? Okay, so there was another local late night show on Fox,
Really?
and we averaged at 10 p.m. I think it was maybe like 50 more people than them every night, or every Friday night, excuse me, which I thought was nuts because they're on Fox and we're Access. Like, how are we beating you by 50 people every week? That's
Was
madness.
it by chance that one girl with that big space table? It was like a spaceship looking table. I think she's
Yeah.
like a
Yep.
YouTuber.
Yeah, you're thinking of the right one.
It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a giant, like horrible table that was like, this table is way too big.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had a good cast. They just had a bad set and topics that weren't that interesting, and it was very slow moving, Whereas like with late hour,
Yeah.
I was always like making edits, making sure it was quick, everything was going.
You
But
know
it's
what
just
your set reminded me of kind of?
Wayne's
It
World.
felt very like Tom Green kind of set, like
It
a
did,
very
yeah.
classic Tom Green show.
Yeah, it did.
My aunt thought it was a crowd in the audience, though.
I know, isn't that crazy? People like, oh, that's awesome. How many people you have in there? And I'm like, zero. It's all fake. The magic of Hollywood.
You just got four cameras like looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, it felt very alive,
It
for
did.
what we had. But I mean, I would be down to do something like a show like Twin Cities Tonight. I think something like that would be really cool.
Based off the stuff you've been doing and also the passion you've been putting into it, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, or we can get Drop Zone going. Rob Dyrdek, if you change your mind, let me know.
Yeah, yeah.
Take a chance.
Can I ask you what's okay? You got those guys in, but what's the guess that you're like, if I could get this guy, this is like my top.
Chris Hansen, Dateline NBC, baby.
Chris Hansen from
Chris
Dayline?
Chris Hansen, yeah. Oh,
Was
I
it
I would love to have him on the
Dayline?
podcast.
Is it Dayline or is it
He well, he used to be on Dateline, but he's doing his own show now. I think it's called like Takedown with Chris Hansen, I think.
He's the guy that's like, why don't you take a seat, right?
Yeah, it's like, why don't you have a seat right over there?
Oh my
And the guy
god,
sits down.
why don't you take a seat? Oh my god, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, they're like, I wasn't gonna do nothing. And then Chris Hansen's like, well, the problem is I have the transcripts. And that's where they always like start sweating or
I'm not
faint.
gonna lie, that you threw me a curveball there. I did not expect Chris Hansen to be the answer.
Okay, well, it'd be either him or LeVar Burton because he's the first person I ever remember seeing on a TV.
That'd be cool.
Do you have any like guest suggestions? Anybody you think I should have on the pod?
Local wise or just people?
Anybody? Yeah, anybody. I don't really discriminate at all.
I don't know. I mean, there's like a bunch of good artists around here. It'd be cool with like bands. Check out some bands around here. There's some great hip hop
Yeah.
bands. There's some great punk bands. Like not punk. Like there's some great like indie bands. There's a
Hmm.
bunch of good bands in Minnesota still. Like new fresh bands that are just getting started and they're great. As much people like Reagan, Minneapolis, and Minnesota, I think it's a very creative spot. We got like artists, we got photographers, we got great music scenes. We got Prince.
I know, right? So I briefly worked at the airport, and the only
Yeah.
celebrity that I ran into or I note recognized was Timbaland. I see him; he's got a hood up and like sunglasses on, looking at his phone. So I'm like, should I go up and say hi? I'm not supposed to do that, but it's Timbaland. Like, how often am I going to see him? Like, never. So so I do this weird thing where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ask for a picture. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Oh yeah, maybe I should. No, no, I don't think I'm gonna. So I'm in this weird like brain fart of just like going back and then I finally am like, nope, never mind. I'm being weird. I'm making this
Mm.
weird already.
Most people I'd want to go see now is just like podcasters. I'm like, oh, dude, I love
Hey.
it. Like, I'm a podcast fan, so it's
Oh
like
yeah, that's right.
me and
You made like a mascot outfit for a podcast, didn't you? At like I think it was in
oh
Texas.
yeah, yeah. It was not a podcast anymore. They changed their name to I don't listen to it that much. Probably why I forget the name. But yeah, Shockwaves was this band that was a
Hmm.
horror podcast, and they went through horror movies. And then I went to Texas Frightmares and did like a horrible half-ass version of their costume mascot. And then I did it like 2 more years in a row, and I kept changing it and making it better and better.
Hmm.
And the last year I went as the mascot, I had a full-on Mickey Mouse, like big gloves, like Mickey Mouse gloves. I
Yeah.
had a big giant head. I could see through the mouth with like the foam head and like all out. And yeah, it just became like a thing. Like every year, I just kept getting better, and eventually, I was like, "Hey, it's the mascot guy," because every year he comes as our mascot, like just for fun.
When did you start doing your art pieces?
Like my new stuff.
Like when did you like what was the inception of Odom Art?
Well, Odam Art started as a joke. Like it was 2010 or 11, the government shut down in Minneapolis, and there was so much graffiti all over the highways, like so much. And because there was the government was shut down, no one was there to clean it all up. So it was just a mural of this graffiti, and my friends and I would be driving by the highway, and they were graffiti artists. And I remember every time they saw a piece, it'd go, "Oh damn, oh Odam, like Odam. So it kind of started as a joke, and I remember doing graffiti with my friends that were like in a crew, a graffiti crew, and their letters were so good. Like they had great letters, great crazy styles. And I would not bring enough paint. My letters would be too wide where I run out of paint. Like my letters were so
Mm.
bad, but my characters were really good. And I remember painting in a tunnel. Like everyone got their own wall. And I remember my buddy's friend came by and he's like, "Yeah, man, your letters are dookie." Still to this day, I remember he said dookie. Like your letters are dookie, and I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, those letters are dookie. I mean, the characters fire. You should stick to characters." And I was like, "Okay." Like cool. But he's like, "Yeah, there's some dookie letters, man. You gotta stop that. Stop doing graffiti and just do characters."
Okay, yeah,
But
I remember you did some graffiti still for a little bit. It seems like on your Instagram.
not recently. I've been doing murals recently and kind of getting more crazy with that.
Sure.
Um, it's just a different style. I like drawing characters more than letters, but as I'm getting older, it's like I want to get better at letters. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a joke at first, and I just kind of stuck with it. Like, oh damn,
So I've always
never.
been curious. Maybe you can answer this for me. How come graffiti artists every time there's like a train passes by, and you have to wait for the train to go by, how come most
Yeah.
of the words aren't anything coherent? It's always kind of like a seven, then a one, then an M, like a V. It's always kind of it's never an actual word.
Oh, you mean like Thrive 27 or like uh
Yeah.
Sway or Shock 55, something like that.
Well, most of the time it's not a real word. It'll be like WIYXC. It'll be something like that. And I've always wondered why don't they just use like real words? Like that'd be so much cooler.
Uh, it might be a crew, like a crew name.
Oh, really?
There's some, there are some crew names that are just go by like letters and stuff like numbers and stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of crews that were around Minneapolis for a while that were going on for a couple of years, but then you don't see it as much anymore. And it's been 10 years, so they kind of fade out, and the new kids
Hmm.
come in there. And then as
Oh,
I'm
okay.
getting older, I'm looking at the letters. I'm like, those letters are dookie. Those are some dookie letters, man. Like, look, I'll see
The
some kids like drippy, bubbly. I'm like, dookie letters.
the the extent of my graffiti is in a video game called Jet Set Radio. Because in that game you go around like tagging stuff and yeah, that's the closest I ever got. Great
Is that
game,
the
by
one
the
with
way.
the? Is that the one with the guy on the rollerblades?
Yes, you're on rollerblades and you got to avoid the police and you got to put your tag everywhere. It's a very bright,
Yeah,
colorful game.
it was like Dreamcast, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I had
Throwback.
Dreamcast. I didn't have PlayStation. I had the Dreamcast.
Oh, I love the Dreamcast.
Crazy Taxi.
Hey, hey, hey.
That was like my game.
Oh, I know. Same here. Yeah, I love Crazy Taxi. There's another game called Shenmue. That was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like an adventure game. There was like a Sonic game on there too. Yeah. Well, another cool thing about the Dreamcast is you could take out or the memory card was in the controller, but you could take out the memory card and like play little mini games on it. You could like look at your stats, what's saved on there. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
believe it.
It's funny because it's like I want to play. I want to be a gamer in some weird way. Like I look at gamers
Yeah.
and I'm like, I wish I could be a gamer, but like I don't know. I just don't have the attention span. My attention span's so short.
Yeah.
And because you look at games, they're so detailed. They look like movies. But my attention span goes to like arcade wise, and then it kind of fades away.
Yeah.
Like I like the
The
old arcade games. You're one and done.
oh, same here. Yeah, like Simpsons, X-Men, uh
Yeah.
like all the ones they
Uh,
have in Up Down, I think. Up Down
mm-hmm.
Arcade. Yeah, like all those throwbacks, those are amazing.
Up down's pretty cool. There's a place called Starcade in Roseville, and you pay like $15, and you can play all the games you want all day.
Oh, are you serious?
And yeah, there's nothing but old games, so it's all old games. And then in the back they have Japanese games, like old Japanese games, and it's right next to the theater, so you can just like go see a movie, go play some games.
Okay, I'm gonna have to write this down because now I know what I'm gonna do this weekend.
Dude, it's cool, and you can come back too. So it's like you can get a stamp to
Oh,
come back and just play all day.
what is it
It's
called?
pretty crazy. Starcade. There's one game that I want to play the most. That's Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah,
That sounds
Dragon Lair.
familiar. Oh, Dragon Lair.
It was like the same creators that made All Dogs Go to Heaven, and they also showed it in Stranger Things 2, where they were playing the game all
Okay.
day.
Yeah,
It's
you
like a
want to know?
movie kind of.
Right. You want to know something? Okay, so I don't know if Tommy Tallarico's connected to this game. I had him on late hour back in the day, but this is the first game to ever actually feature a live orchestra.
Mm,
Yeah, interestingly enough.
which one?
Random video game fact of the day.
Which game?
The one you're talking about, Dragon's Lair.
Oh, okay, that makes sense
Yeah,
because it was
first game
like
ever.
kind of a movie.
Yeah. And then kind of going back to modern games, the last game that I played that held my attention 100% of the time was a game called The Last Guardian. It's have you heard of it?
Sounds kind of familiar.
So you're in like a very old time and it's just you and this giant or it's this kid and this giant dog bird cat thing that's just like the size of a house and you have to guide it
Yeah.
through all these puzzles and everything in these giant abandoned castles. It's pretty interesting for anybody
Mm,
out there. I think it came out in 2016, 2017.
okay.
Yeah, it's worth a play.
Yeah, I've never. Uh, I mean, the last like full on game I played was probably you remember like Max Payne?
Yeah,
But like that was
PS2.
like the last game I full on played because I mean, as it went on, it's like the story is sound good. Like even though when you're talking about it now, it sounds good. It just they get more time consuming, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like Cyberpunk was
oh,
one for me. I'm just like I can't invest all this
it's so
time into
much.
this game.
Yeah, like little things you have to do. And I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
so much
yeah,
time.
it was too much. Maybe going back to your art before I completely derailed the conversation.
No, you're good. I'm just
Uh,
hanging out.
what was I gonna ask? So then so kind of to bring it back to now for your art, you had that melting theme. I remember when you came on late hour, I think, right? You had the melting theme to everything.
Yeah, I was kind of doing more like I think I think the last time I was on your show, I said it was like acid kind of painting
Oh, right.
because
Yeah, yeah.
every time I went to a festival, someone's like, "Did you do drugs when you did that?" I was like, "No, like I don't do drugs when I paint." um, but yeah, I was doing more like that kind of trippy style. But then I don't know. I don't know. I think I want to start like changing things and like challenge myself more, like getting out of
Hmm.
the same routine. Because sometimes you get bored. I just get bored of it, and I want to keep trying new things to, uh, I don't know, get out of the same comfort zone a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Is that because I've noticed you'll take a photo of like George
Mm-hmm.
Lucas and then you'll add in one of your characters. Is that what you mean by kind of like challenging yourself and like putting a bit of depth to the characters a bit?
I mean, yeah, that was kind of just being bored and trying that, but then it turned
Hmm.
out to be kind of fun. Like like if you get a photo, how can you work around it, like and make it a painting or add your character to it? So it's kind of like a fun experiment to see how I could add my little character into the paint or into the photo. So it's kind of a
Hmm.
fun experiment. And then from doing that, I started making this pink little guy called Chester, and this little pink little one-eyed ball kind of character.
Hmm.
And from that, I've been making different versions of him. So like him in a abstract version, him in a fine art painting, him in a photo. Just kind of just ways to find out this character and how to make him into challenging styles that I don't normally do.
Sure. And then
Yeah.
who's the green guy? You have like a mask that you wear sometimes. It's like a green character, kind of looks like salad fingers, maybe.
Oh, how far back did you go to my stuff?
I went down pretty far.
That's so old. Yeah, I don't do that no more. I used to. I was like, green guy. No, that was like during like graffiti stuff. I was trying to like hide images, so I was like, I'm gonna
Oh, okay.
spray paint and tag, but I'm never gonna show my face. And
Okay.
then I stopped doing graffiti and I just started doing stickers and sticker slapping. And I was like, you can't get in trouble for sticker slapping, really.
Do you ever read comments?
Comments? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. I've been pretty good about not reading them on YouTube because like that can kind of be like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I'll
I
skim
think
them and then that's about it. I don't really get into them. Like, oh, who's this?
yeah, I think YouTube's a little bit different than like Instagram and stuff. I just usually post a photo and then just like let it go kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like so it's just like post it, I'm done kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how I am too on Instagram. I'm just like, yep, post it. It's good. On to the next thing. Enjoy.
Yeah. Right.
But like
Um
some people, or what were you gonna say?
no, go ahead.
Uh, but like I can see how some people get sucked into like YouTube comments because you'll wake up, you're like you'll check a couple days later and there's like some 80, 150, and it's like I just kind of skim through them, and even if they're negative, I leave them just because I feel like I don't want to have like a dictatorship where it's like this is my channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like most things. It's like painting or music or anything you do that's creative. It's kind of like you paint it for you, and if people don't like it, it's okay. It's like hopefully you like the next one. Uh,
Yeah.
but if you don't, it's okay. Like that's it's kind of that weird thing. It's like hard to um, accept, but sometimes you're just like, it's okay, man. You don't gotta like it. It's not for everyone. But
Yeah,
by
exactly.
doing your own thing, you're doing your own flow, getting your own juice and stuff like that to like creativity wise, and just like I'm just doing my thing, and you're having fun with it. So it's like if you don't like it, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as it's yours and it's something you're proud of, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Plus, it's like kind of
sort of
cool
fun.
when you get like small community wise of like listeners or a community base that likes your stuff. I think it's more fun because once you get big, you kind of have
Yeah.
to start debating on do you like this and do you like that. It's like, well, when we started, it was fun, but now I have to listen to everything, and now I'm like losing my flow of the reason why I did it. You
Yeah.
know?
I could see that. Like for me, I'm having people find me now just off of any app, and that's really very that's all new for me. Like I'm not used to having people just be like, "Oh yeah, what's up? I listen to your podcast." I'm like, "Oh, well that's awesome.
Wait,
Hello."
can I listen to this on Spotify and stuff?
You know what? I've been slacking on Spotify. I have it up until Elon, I think. Elon's episode.
Okay,
I need to
because
upload more.
I just been using YouTube. I didn't realize it was on
Yeah.
app.
Well, that's 95% of my traffic comes from YouTube. So I'm like, like I should be posting or putting up episodes on like Apple, iHeart, and Spotify, but most
Mm-hmm.
people watch. But it's been nice
YouTube.
meeting people and everything, man. I did not expect like my thinking was like, okay, I'll probably eventually get to like 1,000 because that's what we got on late hour, and that'll be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, here we are at what like 6.9 now. I'm like, whoa, hello.
that's sick.
On Instagram, I asked you guys if you have any questions for Odam Art, and this is what we got. So it is time for Instagram questions. First question is: ever thought about realism?
Yeah, dude, that's like my back and forth I have with myself is like realism is like uh, a goal for me. I want to get realism for sure in my style. I'm kind of going through that now, like my style now. Like I'm starting to go back and do abstract and stuff that when you're a kid, like the fruit in a bowl, the classic draw fruit in a bowl
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. To me, I thought that was the most boring thing. And I'm like, I just want to draw a cartoon. But as I'm getting older, I'm like, I want to do that. I want like abstract. Never got it, but now I kind of respect it more. Like I
Mm-hmm.
get it. And realism, it's something I didn't care for as a kid, but as I'm getting older, it's like I want to work on that more because it's so challenging that
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to do realism and then slowly work in like my cartoonish style in some way. Because you can do both. You can mix genres and mediums together. Um, but I would love to do that because it just sounds hard, but sounds like something that would be challenging and kind of having that starting from scratch again. So it's
Yeah,
completely different than what I do.
and you could have an interesting outcome. That reminds me, do you know Amanda? She's got a twin sister.
Amanda,
Yes, yeah.
oh yeah, Amanda's
So,
rad.
man, have you checked out her art?
Yeah, she
Oh
kind
man,
of has it's like realism, but it's also like watercolor kind of based, like a little bit.
yeah, yeah. But I mean,
And
yeah, some of her
watercolor
pieces are
to me is
so amazing.
hard. Yeah, her stuff is great. Every time I see her post stuff, I'm like, that's a great style because realism's hard and also watercolor. If you've ever used watercolor, it's not easy. It's kind of challenging. Yeah, her style is good. I always respect her style. And I remember in high school, her stuff was always hanging, and I was like, man, it's so good.
Yeah, even
It's
back
so
in the
good.
day, she was like just insanely talented.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome too. So it's kind of cool when you have a great artist and the person that's pretty cool with it too. Like
Shout
great
out
person.
Amanda, what's up?
Next question.
Any particularly challenging or rewarding cartoon projects you've worked on in the past?
It was a mural I did for a customer and our client, and he gave me this garage I could paint a mural on, but I didn't know.
This one?
No, it was a.
No?
I probably didn't. I think I sent it to you.
This one?
No, it's like
No?
a space. It's like a green head, like a space
Greenhead.
green head dude.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Okay.
So that one was one that the guy let me do whatever I want on it, and which is cool. But when someone says that, it's kind of it's a little stressful because you're like anything. You might not like it when you're done though, because like
Yeah.
he kind of got to give me some views. So he kind of gave me some things he wanted me to do a little bit, but kind of went in like freestyle. Like all that was kind of winging it. Like I
Hmm.
did little sketches here and there, but lots of it was winging it. And at the end of it, it came. I was actually pretty excited about it because it was a big mural. I got to go detail, and it's only my second mural, and it was fun just going super detail
Yeah.
on a garage and getting all that space background and all the little stars and the sky. And I mean, it was cool, but for me, that was like kind of a rewarding moment doing that because I didn't fully have the confidence going in. So,
Yeah, I mean, it
like
looks
I didn't.
great though.
Do you want nothing funny?
Sure.
I found out I'm colorblind.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. My girlfriend was kind of joking about it, but then it became more serious, and she's like, "No, no, I think you actually are colorblind," because I kept saying like certain things were gray when they weren't gray, and I
Oh
kept saying
man.
like things were like, "Hey, can you hand me that black hoodie?" And she's like, "What black hoodie?" And then I was like, "That one." She's like, "It's not black." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "It's green." Like, and I went to the eye doctor to get a contact, and they had those eye tests where you could see the numbers inside the different colors.
Hmm.
I got 1 out of 7 right.
Oh man.
I was like, oh. And I was talking to someone else, and they're like, yeah, this other guy's an artist, and here's his stuff, and his stuff is bright stuff, and it's because he can't see darker colors. They look like when it gets darker, it becomes gray. So
Hmm.
I think my stuff too is bright because when it gets dark, it looks it looks gray.
I mean, it looks great. I love I've always loved bright
Yeah.
colors.
Next question.
All right, so next question. Have you ever felt conflicted about a piece afterwards?
I mean, most paintings I do, I usually hate after I do it
What? Do you really?
because yeah, because you're the biggest critic of yourself. It's like you're judging your own self, or you feel like when you hang something like I've had gallery shows around Minneapolis, and it's
Mhm.
cool, they're fun, people are having drinks and stuff like that. But all I can think about is like, oh, it is not finished. Why did I like it's just like
Mm,
that criticism on yourself.
yeah.
Um, I did a mural at Third Layer Skate Park, and there's still stuff on that. I'm like, oh, I wish I did this. Like, I want to get rid of that. Like, I hate that. Like, why didn't I should add
Mm,
detail here.
okay.
But it at times it's like that. But to be honest, the one stuff that is the most rewarding is my that therapy painting because it's for
Mm.
me. that's just for me. Like I don't care how it looks sloppy or not. Like I don't get criticism on that because just for me. But if I'm making something for others to see, I get a little more criticized on myself. But if it's a
Sure.
therapy painting, then I'm just going free for all. Like I don't care. It's like my plan isn't to show anybody. Eventually I do, but in the
Sure.
moment I'm like, it's just for me. It's kind of like a journal, like paintings for yourself.
I guess is there a difference between conflicted and like I guess I don't know the difference between like conflicted and criticism when it's in within yourself because that
Yeah,
can kind of be like
that was
interpreted.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Next question.
Last question. This is more of a statement. Comedy is always good for raising awareness. Big tobacco sucks. And I'm assuming she's referring to the photo I posted on Instagram.
Yeah, that was a few years back now, and it was like there was a community that hosted shows and artists around Minneapolis to stop tobacco
Hmm.
industry, like kind of kind of get people's awareness about smoking's not cool. So it's kind of like Dare in a way. My friends did this show, and then I went there and made some illustrations for them. And they paid me, but afterwards they're like, let's get an interview and talk about how you don't like the tobacco industry. So I had to get like an interview, and I was like, oh yeah, tobacco is not cool, and yeah, I like what they're doing. This is a cool community fighting against tobacco. And at the end, I'm like, I didn't really care. I just wanted to get paid. Like, I was like, I just wanted to get paid and do art. Like, I didn't care about it, but they were forcing on you. Like, what do you think about the tobacco industry? It's like, oh, did the check clear? I didn't.
Get
Okay,
that hundred
cool. Like,
bucks.
yeah, dude, that's probably the biggest at the time. It was like they probably paid like $200 at the time, and I was like, oh shit, I got money.
200 bucks. Oh man. For a
But at
30
the time,
second
man,
spot, man.
yeah, well for the drawing and stuff. But I
Oh,
did a
gotcha,
T-shirt for
gotcha.
them too.
All right, so you guys can check him out on Instagram. Name is Odam Art, Odamart. What other socials are you on?
Just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Okay, yeah, you guys can check him out.
Yeah,
Check out his art pieces.
I'm not up to date on any of that stuff, man.
That's it's all good. All right,
And
I
there's
think we
Facebook, but I don't know.
you're not on it that much.
I mean, Facebook's there, but I don't promote anything really on there.
Oh, really? All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.